I wanted to tell you about one of our most popular blog posts on GradePod. It's the ultimate guide to IB Physics, grade boundaries. And in this blog post, we go through what grade boundaries are, understanding how the grade boundaries are made. We've got all the grade boundaries since 2016 and loads of other information about factors affecting grade boundaries and how those grade boundaries might change with the new IB Physics syllabus in 2025. First of all, let me tell you what a grade boundary is. A grade boundary is the minimum score you need to achieve to reach each grade level. And it changes depending on the difficulty of the exam and a few other factors as well. We'll talk about them later. You may wonder how the examiners come up with these grade boundaries. And basically what happens is there's a grade descriptor for each grade, and that's set out in the specification. And that grade descriptor says what a person attaining each grade should be capable of achieving. And what the lead examiners do is they look at the paper and they assess how much of the paper a person reaching that level of understanding would be likely to get, and then they decide the grade boundaries accordingly. I think there's a miscommunication about grade boundaries being set by a bell curve. That's not true. The grade boundaries are set by lead examiners assessing what the grade descriptors say a person should get. It's quite complicated, right? But just let them get on with that, okay? Let them deal with that. That's a difficult job and it's not for us to question. But I just wanted to dispel the myth that the grade boundaries are set by a bell curve. Okay, in this blog post, one of our most popular blog posts, I list the grade boundaries for every year and every time zone since 2016. So if you need to see a grade boundary in IB Physics, head to this blog post and we've got everything you need there. What else did I want to cover? Oh, why do grade boundaries change? Well, every year the exam is not the same difficulty because it's really difficult. I'm using the word difficult a lot, but it's really challenging to create a paper of the same difficulty every year for those examiners. So some years, the exam papers are more difficult than they are of other years. That will affect the grade boundary. Once the exams have been sat, they also look at the performance of the cohort. So if most students perform well, the grade boundaries are likely to be higher. And finally, there are external factors like COVID-19 or cheating scandals. There was a recent tome-zone cheating scandal in May 2024, and that can affect the grade boundaries as well. They assess all those different factors, and that's what makes the grade boundaries change. The new exam structure will definitely affect grade boundaries, but let's have a look at in more detail what exactly will affect the grade boundaries of the new exam structure. So the new exams have an increased focus on data-based questions. So those students who excel in those type of questions may find it easier to score higher marks, which will then affect the grade boundaries. Also, there are different papers. So the old syllabus had paper 1, 2 and 3, and they had a certain amount of weighting. The new syllabus has paper 1A, paper 1B and paper 2, and they have a different weighting to the previous papers. So that will lead to adjustments in the grade boundaries as well, because the distribution of marks across different skills is altered. And in the new syllabus, there's no penalty for incorrect answers. That's similar to the previous syllabus, but that could encourage students to attempt all questions, whereas before a lot of students missed questions out for some reason. I don't know. So the re-emphasis on the fact that you cannot be penalised for a wrong answer, that's supposed to be re-emphasised with this new syllabus. That might encourage more students to answer more questions. Who knows? Okay, so how should you use this information? Well, you should set realistic goals. Look at the grade boundaries below and set yourself a target grade boundary for the grade you want to achieve. You'll notice it's not that difficult to get a 7 in IB Physics. You're looking at 70%. That means you don't have to get 30% of it right, okay? So it's not impossible. The second thing you should do is target your weak areas. So if you have weak areas of topics or exam technique, targeting those weak areas will improve your score overall. And that is one of the key fundamental things we undertake inside Tribe Physics. I help you personally identify what your weaknesses in your concept knowledge is, but more importantly, I help you personally identify what your weakness in your exam technique is. And I do that for every topic in IB Physics. And once I help you identify those weaknesses, I help you boost your scores in those areas. So that's the bonus of Tribe Physics if you're looking to bring your grades up to that top grade boundary. And the third thing you can do with all this information on grade boundaries is practice. Exam technique really does improve with practice, but it improves even quicker and better when you're part of Tribe Physics. If you don't know what your grade is because of all the exam weightings, then we have a really handy IB Physics grade calculator in this blog post. All you do is pop in your marks for your papers and I'll tell you A, what your overall percentage is, and B, what your current IB Physics grade is. So that allows you to predict your final grade by putting in numbers and just seeing, okay, if I increase my score on paper 1 by 2 marks, where does that get me? It's a really nice tool for you allowed to imagine and predict what your final grade would be. Now, if you need any help with IB Physics because you want to get that 7, that's what I specialise in. That's where I really come into my own. And I highly recommend you check out Tribe Physics. That's where the magic is. Everything you need to get that 7 in IB Physics is there, with direct access to me, all the resources, all the videos, all the mock exams, all the screencast solutions is there inside Tribe Physics, and I'd love to help you. Okay, see you later. Bye.